First love yourself before anyone else. First love yourself by Trinesha Catrell.
Hi, this is Trinesha Catrell, and welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful to have you here on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we are going to talk about grace. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting and empowering content like this. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. Okay. So earlier today, let me be real with you in saying that I had no topic for this video. I had learned so many things over the past couple days, and I just didn't know how God was going to use it to consolidate it into this message. And so in prayer, through asking God what it is that he wanted me to say, through doing some research and going through my notes, and sometimes it's like an epiphany. It just kind of comes to me, and it'll just be an idea that pops into my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, or something that's helpful to me. If I know or I learned something in the past, I want to help other people. And so this is what this video, this is what this is all about. It's all about educating other people, about helping other people learn from my missteps, my mistakes, pun intended, because of the book. And for those of you that don't know, God blessed me to use my testimony as a story for others to learn from. And the book is titled Learn from My Missteps on Amazon. And so, shameless plug, but also I think it could be helpful and beneficial for people in this community, especially if you're watching this video to grow and learn and become a better person. Sometimes it's good to know that you're not alone when you're going through a struggle, when you're going through things in life. You can see that there's someone else that went through something similar and they made it through, and God can bring you through as well. So I hope that the book gives you hope, and I hope that it encourages you to keep pushing forward and not to allow your past to determine what your future is going to become. So, grace. Here's an acronym for grace that I think will be helpful in pushing us forward to being better people. Sometimes we can be so hard on ourselves and we just feel like, I feel this in my spirit. But let me tell you something. The same grace that you gave that guy that you wasn't supposed to be with is the same grace you got to give yourself. The same grace that you give that family member or friend that you know is no good for being a part of your life, and you keep just giving them a chance after chance after chance, is the same way that you got to give yourself chance after chance after chance. Sometimes we focus so much on the bad that we forget to give ourselves some grace. So here's an acronym for reminding ourselves of the grace so that you can use it in the future. The G is for gratitude. Whenever you are going through something, remember to be grateful for where you are. The more you appreciate where you are, the more you'll appreciate where you're going. When you go to work, just say, I get to work this job. I read this book called Controlling Some Kind of Thoughts in Your Mind. It's by Janie. I don't know. I'll post it down below because I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank right now. But she writes a lot of different inspirational books about how to change the thoughts in your mind, how to change the way that you're thinking. Sorry, interrupted by a phone call. You know how that happens sometimes when you be in the video, you be in the vibe. But I probably needed that interruption so I can get my mind straight, right? But sometimes you get so ungrateful with the things in life that you don't realize that you are hindering your own growth. God is just waiting for you to say, hey, I need your help, God. I don't know what to do in this season. I made it as far as I could bring myself. Where do you want me to go? Because when you're sitting there complaining and you're trying to ask everybody else but God to help you, they can't do what God can do. They might be able to open one door, but God can open many doors. They might be able to give you one opportunity, but God can give you the opportunities that you need for the rest of your life. And it's important for us to remember to be grateful for the things that we have. Like, you might want the newest whatever item it is. Like, maybe if you're into fashion like me, you want this pair of shoes that you really are interested in because you just are into that type of stuff. Maybe you're into games, you want the new game. Maybe you're into cars and you want the new car. Whatever your thing is, you might be interested in that. But unless you're grateful for the car that you already have, unless you're grateful for the clothing that you already have, unless you're utilizing it and you're using and making the most of it, then God can't bless you with more. If I go in my closet, I can probably pull out a couple outfits that I like, even though I might like that new item. And it's all about being grateful for where you are right now so that that way God can bless you with many more things. The next thing is for our reassurance. You got to reassure yourself like it's your job. Like, I don't know what you've been doing in the past, but I don't care what the ex said. I don't care what the family member's friend said. I don't care what the hater on the street said. I care about what you say to yourself. When you are down, when you're feeling like you really want to do something in life, when you know that you have dreams and aspirations, when you know there's a purpose on your life, you got to reassure yourself like it's your job. Like you got to go at it like you really about that life. You got to really be like, I'm that person. Like, I'm important. I am whatever it is that you want to be. You want to be an entrepreneur and God bless it. I am an entrepreneur, a successful, healthy entrepreneur. You want to be a fitness trainer. I am a fitness trainer. I am a successful, healthy fitness trainer. You want to be a realtor. I am a successful, healthy realtor. And I say healthy in there because sometimes we feel like in order to be successful, we got to be toxic, and you don't have to. You just have to speak positivity into your life and then lean on God. It doesn't matter what any person does on the outside trying to stop you from what it is that God's trying to do in your life. Nobody can take away what it is that God has for you. And it's important for us to remember that. You have to remember that no matter what's going on in your life, God can handle it. There's no problem big enough that God can't solve. You have to start speaking life into yourself every single morning. When you get up before your feet hit the floor, say, "Thank you, God, and I am whatever you are." Whatever it is that you want to be, ask God for those things without saying, "God, I really want to be in a healthy kingdom relationship." And then turn around and say, "But it ain't no good man." Like, stop negating your prayers. Stop going back and canceling out all the things that it is that you want to do in life because that's why your prayers aren't answered. You are blocking your blessings. It's time for you to say, okay, this didn't work out because that person's not grace for me, not because I'm not going to be somebody's wife. This didn't work out because I was too immature and God's still working on the inside of me. And I'm glad that He works in His timing and not my timing because I needed that extra training so that when this man comes into my life, he can be respected above any other man that walks the face of this earth. You got to really talk to yourself like you know that you know that you know that who God is and who you are. Because when you don't know, people will always try to tell you who they think that they want you to be. Or they'll try to transform and change you into copy paste you into all these people around the world. Like they want you to be like Becky and Stephanie and whoever else. But you need to be like blank, whoever your name is, right? If your name is Trinesha, Trinesha is like this. If your name is Bob, Bob is like this. You don't have to be anybody else but yourself. So focus on speaking positivity into yourself so that you can speak yourself up because you reassuring yourself is so important, especially when extending grace to yourself. The next thing is for A, accomplishments. We get so stuck on the failures that we had in life that we forget that we won at some point in time. There was a trophy that you won in the past. There was a competition that you won in the past. There was this thing that you wanted so badly that you won at in the past. But because you failed recently, you forgot about all the wins that God gave you in the past. Or even recently, God could have gave you an opportunity to work a job when you was going to be out of work and you forgot that quick that you won right there. God could have taken something away from you that you prayed would be here with you and it stayed and you forgot because you're going through a drought or because you're going through a financial setback temporarily because you are going through a heartbreak, you forgot that you won in the past because you might be a widow now and you had a person that loved you. You feel like you can never give or receive any other kind of love like that ever again for the rest of your life. And the whole time God is like, you got blessings on blessings on blessings, like I'm not through with you. You're the only one stopping yourself because you're looking at it through a scarcity, as TG says, mindset. You're looking at it from a lack and not abundance. When you start looking at your life as, oh yeah, I did do this in the past. Oh yeah, these are all the wins that I did have. You know what? I did read yesterday. Just because I forgot to read today does not mean I'm losing. That just means I forgot to read. Like, give yourself a little bit of grace. And I'm not saying be lazy. I am not saying be lazy. I am not. saying be lazy. I had to reiterate that because when you say give yourself grace, some people think grace equals laziness. No, it equals loving yourself, it equals self-respect, it equals going easy on yourself. Not allowing yourself to be so laid back and lazy that you put no effort into your life. That is not grace. That's laziness. You have to understand that when you are giving yourself grace, it's not for you to just be on yourself every day, like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And it's not for you to be like, all right, well, I worked hard for 10 years and now let me just sit here and just expect my hand to be out so people can just give me what it is that I feel like I'm owed. You're going to get what it is that you work for. You will, when you are using wisdom in this world, when you're doing the things that God intended for you to do, when you are really being in purpose and making smart money decisions and budgeting and all of those things, you are going to live a life of abundance because you stewarded the things that you had in a good way. Working your fingers to the bone and hustling, bustling so hard that you put yourself in the hospital is not, it's not grace. It is not you putting in a hard work ethic. It is you doing something that's pushing yourself over the limit. That's not you going after what it is that you want. That's you in a that's even lackful, dare I say. Because you feel like there's so little that can happen in your life that you have to do all of this when God can make it happen in one day, 1 minute, 1 hour. And the whole time you're worried about nothing. Give yourself grace and focus on God. The next thing is for C, confidence. I don't know one person that's out here just killing it in life, doing the things that they got to do, like really shining, glowing up, all the things without having confidence. You can go into an interview, and I heard this podcast, this story back in the past from Priscilla. I can't remember what her last name is, but she's a preacher, and she was in the movie The Overcomer and War Room, and the movie that's about to come out, The Forge, right? And she was talking about how she would go into different rooms, and the confidence that she had was from God. Not only that, but then I hear this interview about this woman. I think it was Christy Wright. She went for this job. Don't quote me on any of this. Listen, I'm just telling you, not verbatim, but this is just like a little condensed version of what I think, of where I think I heard this, right? And I don't want to not give somebody their props, so that's why I'm saying it. But she went for a job interview in the past, and there was a person with like 10 years experience or all of this experience. She got the position because she went in with confidence, because she believed in herself, because she knew that she could accomplish it. Whatever it was, she knew she'd be trained for it. Whatever she needed to do, she knew that she could do it. And that's the thing that a lot of us are missing is confidence. You can't accomplish anything without confidence. You have to have confidence in yourself. Even if you fail sometimes, even if things don't work out the way that you want, you have to keep going after the things that you want in life. And when you fail, when you have a misstep, when something doesn't work out the way that it is, you give yourself grace. And last but not least, excellence. When you are doing things on purpose, when you're going after the things that you want, you have to do it with excellence. You can have confidence all day, but if you give it the bare minimum, if you barely try, if you feel like you deserve a handout just because you are who you are, that is not how you get blessed. That is not where grace comes in. Grace comes to those who are willing to have faith in the things that are unseen, that are willing to put in the type of work that a Christian is supposed to put in. They're the type of people who go in giving an effort in the job that they're in the career that they're in, and the things that it is that they want in life. You can't just how is somebody mm, 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 mm. how is somebody supposed to know that you're a model if you're not going to auditions, if you're not in modeling school, if you're not doing something towards becoming a model? Nobody's going to give you a modeling gig. And when people say this in videos, if you're like me, you'd be a little cynical and you'd be like, okay, there's that one exception. We're not talking about the exceptions today, okay? When you really want something in life, you have to go after it. You can't just expect somebody to give it to you just because you look like a model, just because you want to be a model. You have to really go and say, okay, if I want to be a model, what is it that I can do? Can I meet with this person to go for auditions? Can I go to this place? Can I do brand deals online and maybe people see me modeling and maybe modeling in another capacity? If that is what you want, you have to go after it and take the steps towards the goal that you have for your life. You cannot just expect someone to give you it. And that is how you extend grace to yourself. You extend grace by loving yourself, loving those around you, and then trying to seek understanding instead of jumping to conclusions. When something happens in life, you can't just say, oh, they're doing that just because they're a bad person. I did this one day, and I'm telling on myself, but listen, the best way to help people is to be transparent. I literally was like, when you are in life and you just point the finger at other people, it is really hard to give yourself other people grace when you're not giving yourself grace. When you're not saying, okay, well, if I messed up on this, let me go ahead and not be so hard on myself. What can I learn from this so that I can become better in the future? And then when someone else messes up, you'll say, okay, maybe they messed up this time, but what can I do to help them do better in the future? What can I say in a productive way? Don't never Everything does not deserve a clap back. You don't have to always respond to everything, but it is important to stand up for yourself and to set a precedent for your life, to really have healthy standards and boundaries so people know how to treat you, because you deserve everything that God intended for you to have in your life. So when you're going through life, don't forget to seek God. Know that He has all the answers. And when you are extending grace to yourself and others, know that you cannot be so hard on yourself. If you're going after the things you want, you're doing everything that you need to do. If you're trying to be the best version of yourself, you're doing everything that it is that you need to do. So just keep doing that and keep seeking God first and loving yourself, and everything will be fine. So thank you so much for watching, and remember to love yourself.